station. Mitch Albom joins me now to talk about his new book, Twice. And Mitch, I finished this book over the weekend, and it is just an amazing read. And thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Ryan, thanks for taking the time to read the book. That's really nice of you. Appreciate it.
Well, it was something. I'll tell you, Mitch. Every time I put it down, it seemed like the next hour afterwards, I thought about a moment in my own life. If I had to do it over again, would I? And
Yeah.
it was a really reflective book. I just what is the reaction that you're getting around the country as you travel all over the place?
Very much like that. I mean, it's only been out less than a week, but that's exactly it. It's a story about a guy who discovers when he's a kid that he has the magical ability to do anything in his life over again, but only one time. And he has to live with the consequence of the second try. And so he goes through his life fixing his adolescent mistakes, and making the shots and that he missed, and erasing the embarrassing comments with teenage girls, and things. And then when he becomes a man, he discovers that there's only one caveat to this power, and that is it doesn't work with love. So that if you try to undo a love, you try to go back and try somebody else, then the person who loved you the first time can never love you again. They'll be in the world, you can talk to them, but they'll never feel the same way about you. And of course, the character has to make a fateful choice. And it's a lot about, the grass always being greener on the other side. And that's probably why people are reacting the way they do, because I think we've all had those thoughts at some point or another, right?
And that theme of, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I feel like so many of points in life you learn from your mistakes, and it felt like Alfie just got to redo them.
Yeah, well, that's one of the great lessons of the book, without trying to give it away. There's a moment where he asks his grandmother, who has the same power as he does, he discovers, how come we only get one try? How come I don't get to go back 3 times or 12 times, whatever? And she says to him, Alfie, if you keep getting second chances, you'll never learn a damn thing.
Right.
And that's the truth of life, isn't it? And we all kind of really do get second chances. We don't think of it that way, but our second chance is the next minute in our life. And we can take everything that we've learned from the mistakes that we've made up to this point and fix them and do better in the next minute, but we all want the magic to just sort of erase everything and start all over again, particularly with love. I find that a lot I see people with relationships, quick divorces and I've had enough of this one, I'm going to go date that one. And everybody loves the new car smell of a new romance, but new car smells fade and people don't.
It's an incredible love story. It truly is. And that all throughout the book, there's some to be, something about Alfie's superpower as well, that I felt sad for him a lot throughout this book, because it almost felt like the superpower was almost a burden for him. Is that what am I on the right track there?
Yeah, well, I think it would be, don't you? I mean, if you did have that magic power and you could go undo things, like one time he's a kid and he wants to prove to his friends that how brave he is. So he climbs into a lion's cage at the zoo, knowing full well that he can get out of it. And they're like, oh my God, and he walks towards the lions, and the lions growl at him, and he keeps walking. And then the lions charge at him. And just at the last second, he says twice, and boom, he's back in the morning of that day, unhurt and everything. But then he has to go back to the zoo again with his friends, and only he knows that he did that, and he has to keep it to himself, because he's back in time, so they didn't see him do it. So if he says, oh, I could do it, well, now it's past. So yeah, you do feel sorry for him, because it's lonely to have a power that only you have, and that's also one of the lessons of the book, is that this desire to have this magical ability to undo things might not be as much fun if everybody didn't have it, because you'd have to keep it to yourself.
Mitch, I know this is about a fictional character, Alfie, but there were so many different instances where I thought to myself, oh, I kind of remember maybe in my younger years doing something like that. Is this based on your own experiences, a lot of these different instances that happen
Uh,
with love?
yes. They always say write what you know, and
Right.
so when it came to having embarrassing moments with girls, there was no shortage of material. So there's a moment where he goes to try to talk to this cute girl he has a crush on, and he talks with his hands, and he swings his hands, and he knocks a glass of milk into her lap, and she looks up and makes a face like, "Oh my God!" And he says, "Oh, look at that," and walks away. And that's exactly what happened to me. So yes, that one is
Oh
true.
my
And
gosh.
there's a seventh grade makeout party that was embarrassing, and that was true happened to me. But there's also a moment where when Alfie is 8 years old, and this is when he discovers his power. He's sitting with his mother who's sick. She's had a disease in Africa, and she's sleeping in her bed, and he goes out to play because he thinks, well, she won't know. I mean, I'm just going to go out and play Superman, and he runs outside and plays for a couple hours. When he comes back in, she's died while he was gone, and he berates himself. In fact, that's what brings on his power because he's so upset that he wishes he could go back. And in that case, that's actually a reflection also of my life, not as an 8-year-old, but when I lost my mother when I was on an airplane.
Oh, wow.
I had seen her, and then I flew home, and when I landed, she had died while I was in the air. So there's a line in the book, my mother died while I was trying to fly, and I wrote that. That's a little closer to home than most people
Wow.
will realize for me. Yeah,
Yeah. I did not know that, and I gave me goosebumps
yeah.
just thinking about that. Mitch, do you ever take a minute to appreciate, as you're going around the country and doing all these book signings, and again, locally you have, well, you got one in Toledo tonight sold out, but, Friday at Books A Million in Beverly Hills, Saturday, Barnes& and Noble in Ann Arbor, Michigan State game Saturday, October 5th. You go all over the country and do these book signings. Do you ever take a minute to reflect on um, your written word, what it does for people? I mean, I can just speak for myself. I mean, for the last couple of days I've been reading the book, I've been thinking about my own life, and I probably wouldn't have done that if it weren't for your book.
Well, yes, I do, and I'm very humbled by it, Ryan, and I appreciate it. And that whether it's around the country or even weirder when it's in other countries, and
Yeah.
people were reading the book in different languages. But I got a pretty good education with that with Tuesdays with Maury, and I tried to, a lot of people say, well, that book changed my life, and when people started saying that at first, I was like, oh, come on, it's a book. A book changed your life. But now I really understand what they mean. And, when I've reread Tuesdays with Maury and I think about what Maury taught me, I understand how, he certainly changed my life, in real life. So I can understand how a book would do it. So I have great respect for the power of a book and the written word. And I'm always really humbled when people tell me that my books affected them. And honestly, that's why I don't just write like, detective novels or thriller, plots. I mean, they're great, they're fun, they're entertaining, but for me, I want to have an effect on somebody's life if I'm going to put the effort into a book, and it's very rewarding when people say that's what it was.
Mitch, I could do this all day. I could talk to you all day, but I know you have a show to get ready for, and it's a pleasure to speak with you, sir. And thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for reading the book, Ryan, and I appreciate everybody coming out to the book signings back home here as well. See you soon.
You got it, Mitch Albom. The book is Twice. It is a reflective book. I actually want to read it again because of what it got me to thinking about. And I invite you all to go see Mitch at any of these book signings. Beverly Hills on Friday, Ann Arbor on Saturday, mitchalbom.com for more signings. And of course, anywhere books are sold. The book is Twice. We're coming back top of the hour. This is 760 WJR.